Oh, hi there, guys. So I wanted to talk today just briefly about the hysterical criticism that we've had all weekend of Kneecap and Bob Vylan at Glastonbury. Before I get into it, I'd be extremely grateful if you could subscribe and like the video if you find what I talk about interesting. So thanks a lot. Yeah, all weekend we've had this hysterical braying from a sort of out of touch, political media class. All the usual suspects have piled in to complain about Kneecap and Bob Vylan and their performances and their criticisms of Israel on stage. To be honest, I don't even want to talk about the culture war aspect of this too much. Frankly, I find it extremely boring, and we've been doing it for over a decade now, so I don't think there's much mileage in looking at that in too much detail. What I really wanted to do was think a bit more widely about why our political media class worked themselves up into such a frenzy about this sort of stuff, this trivia. And I think in this country, it's that constant need for politicians and talking heads in the media to comment on or condemn every single little thing which they don't agree with. And that for me is the paradox of politics in late stage capitalism. Politicians and the people in the media, they've got strong opinions about this sort of trivia, what a musician says on stage, but they've got absolutely no opinions on the way our society is structured or where power lies in our society. I saw Wes Streeting on Trevor Phillips this morning, crying on about the BBC shouldn't be showing this and Glastonbury shouldn't be having these people on stage. When was the last time we heard Keir Starmer, Wes Streeting, or any Tory for that matter, talk about how our society is structured or where the power lies in the UK? Well, for Starmer at least, it was when he was lying to get elected to leader of the Labour Party. So that says it all, really, doesn't it? What I find really interesting, though, is that this worldview that they're policing, they portray it as both sort of all-encompassing and powerful, what any decent person would think, but yet also fragile and weak and constantly under attack from fifth columnists and Marxists. And that this worldview then must be maintained with constant crackdowns, hysterical front pages. Frankly, the whole thing stinks. It's just another illustration of why everyone hates the establishment in this country and why populism is on the rise on both left and right, because everyone can see that they're just full of crap. Anyway, thanks a lot, guys.